Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at this record here. It's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album Southern Accents. So I'm sure I got this one requested by someone, but I can't remember for the life of me who it was. So I will just be talking about this album today, anyway, just doing the usual thing, giving a bit of background information, then showing you the vinyl copy of it, what I've got, and then looking at each of the album songs in detail. So this was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' 6th album, released on the 26th of March in 1985. Originally, Petty had intended to make a concept album about his upbringing, in Florida. However, his producer Jimmy Iovine felt that there wasn't enough good quality songs he had. They didn't feel that Tom had enough material to fill out a solid double album. Also, around this time, Tom so happened to be doing a few sessions with Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics, which did kind of somewhat dilute the original concept for this record, because the material what they were working on really had nothing to do with this kind of Southern Accents concept record which was in Tom's mind. So in the end, the eventual album ended up with a mix of producers, a mix of musical styles, and generally just a mishmash of the last year of Petty's recordings. The sessions were quite drug filled and characterised by fraught relationships between the band members. They all kind of had their own sort of vision for this record. No one was really on the same page when it came to the making of this album. So when it came out, they were very exhausted as a band, but this didn't stop them going out on tour, which was documented on the live records here. Pack Up the Plantation Live was kind of the live record which was put out around about the same time as this album. So critically, when it came out, it didn't get a brilliant reception. A lot of people were quite confused by the record. Some felt it kind of lacked a bit of focus, and commercially it didn't perform as well as Petty's previous releases, reaching number 7 on the US charts and number 23 in the UK. So I will just now show you my vinyl copy of it here. Start with the cover. This is taken from a 1865 painting called The Veteran in a New Field. So this really sort of ties in with Petty's sort of original intentions for the record, kind of concept album about the South. There's the back cover there, just a band picture in a barn, and the inner sleeve looks like this. You just get more band photos and lyrics on the other side, and we're just on the usual MCA records for this release here. So that's the vinyl record looked at. So I want to now go over each of the album songs. There's 9 tracks in total, so I'll just talk about each song a little bit, score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. So the opening song is called Rebels, which is a solid rocking song to get us into the record. It's got a kind of classic, sort of jangly, sort of Tom Petty sound to it. Lyrically, in this song, he sort of talks in the first person, about his upbringing, in this sort of tough environment. It's kind of sort of a story song, which Tom hadn't really done before, lyrically. Although it would be something which he would kind of do quite a lot on subsequent records, such as Full Moon Fever, and Wildflowers, Echo. This style of song would become very commonplace in Tom's repertoire. Famously, this was a song when he got quite frustrated when mixing this song, and ended up hitting out a wall, breaking his left arm, anger sort of thing. So he was never really 100% happy with the mix of this track, and yeah, maybe it is a little bit overproduced with these kind of blaring horns going on throughout it. Notably, this was also a later single release from the record, but didn't perform very well, only reaching number 74 on the US chart. So yeah, Rebels, not a bad way to kick off the album. And then we're kind of taken into the next track, which is called It Ain't Nothin To Me, which this begins quite well, with a kind of sort of funky drum beat, this sort of brass going on. It's very, very different sound to what we're sort of familiar with Tom Petty. The verse though is quite forgettable. However, I could do quite the chorus bit, the When You Dance I Can Go With You bit. I really like that bit. Whether I do hear a lot of similarities. I'm not sure if it's just me who's picked picked up on this, but like that bit sounds very similar to David Bowie's like Let's Dance, like the If You Say Run, like I'll run with you, that bit. But like yeah, like this song, not a bad track. It is kind of dragged out like a bit though towards the end, like with like this sort of like meandering like piano solo. Like whether like for the most part, like it's quite a good track this. And then we get the lead single from the record, the song Don't Come Around Here No More, which I've got the 12-inch single off this one to show here. So yeah, this is a song which was written by the Eurythmics' Dave Stewart. Originally, like he was going to give this song to Petty's friend Stevie Nicks, like whoever like kind of like Petty like got like in there first and like worked up the track like with Stewart. Like it's got a very distinctive feeling like this track here. Like it's very, very different like from most of Petty's like other hits. Like it's got like this sort of like Eastern sound to it, like this like electric sitar on it, like as well like has like these sort of like very big, very echoey like 80s drums on it. The song just builds up so well, like towards like the ending, like where like the band just really like rock out like on it. Like it's just a brilliantly constructed song. Like also notably got a great music video like as well, like with Tom sort of like playing like this sort of like Mad Hatter character. Like he said that like that video like very much like sort of like describes like kind of like his life like at like this point in time, just like kind of like sheer madness like really. So there's the back of the single there, just like a nice like band photo. And this is on, I think, again, just usual MCA records here. The B-side to this is a song called Trailer, which was originally part of like the double album which Tom intended, and like notably that song like was later redone by Tom on the Mudcrutch 2 album. So commercially, this single did do quite well, reaching number 13 on the US charts, but like in like the UK, like with Tom, like was never like really like a big like charting artist, like only hit number 50 here, unfortunately. So then back to the album for the closer of side 1, which is the title track Southern Accents, which this is another 10 out of 10 for me, and is possibly my favourite song like on the album. It is another sort of stylistic departure like for like Petty, because it's a very much like a very somber like piano ballad, like about like Petty's like southern roots, like it's a song which he's very, very proud of, like this track here. His vocal like is absolutely stunning, like and the minimalistic production like just really helps the song a lot. Like it's not like overblown, this track. So yeah, Southern Accent, yeah, wonderful song there, like an easy 10 out of 10. And then opening up to side 2, we get the last of the Dave Stewart collaborations. It's a song called Make It Better, Forget About Me, which is a song which often does come in for criticism, but I really rather like it. Lyrically, it's maybe like a little bit like trivial, like he's not really saying much like lyrically, but like then again, like what like 80s like pop dance tunes that wasn't, like it's it like genuinely like grooves along this song like really well, like it, and like again it is something very different like for like Tom Petty. Like he's trying something new, which I really do like have to like give him like a lot like credit for, like kind of like embracing like newer like sort of like 80s pop music. Also this track's got a great music video, like kind of like the band like is sort of supposed to be performing like in like inside someone's brain, like, but like as a single this song pretty much like flopped like everywhere, which is a real shame because I think it is a really good tune. And then, unfortunately, this is where the album does go a little bit downhill, like middle of side 2. We get a song called Spike, which is my least favourite, like, on the album. It's a more kind of softer, bluesier number, like, but I think it is just really dragged out, this track here. Lyrically, it is quite a sparse song, like, kind of like just about, like, a guy just about sort of like the gang culture, like in like the southern states. Like again, like this is a song originally for like sort of like the double like record like which Tom like intended to make. I just don't really care like about this song. I think it's quite boring. Like I don't like Petty's vocal on it. So yeah, like not a great track there, Spike. Like a dog on the run. And then we get a half-decent song after that called Dogs on the Run, which is a more sort of like rocking number. This one co-written by the Heartbreakers guitarist Mike Campbell. Like it begins like well enough, like kind of like it's got like this sort of like guitar like picking like on it, like which sort of builds up like the tension. Like the song is like quite toe-tapping, a little bit forgettable though like melodically, but very enjoyable though like while it's on. So yeah, Dogs on the Run would get a 7 out of 10 from me. Then the penultimate track is called Mary's Got a Brand New Car, which this one is a little bit fillery, this song here. Like, it's not too harmful like on like the record, like, but it doesn't really help it either. It's quite repetitive, like towards the end, like mostly that line, like Mary's got a brand new car, like sort of like repeated. Doesn't really do much for me, this song, and like overall, like you're like quite glad like when it's over. But then the closing song is pretty good. It's called The Best of Everything, which this song, like, is a track which apparently Petty had lying around since the Hard Promises album. Lyrically, it's sort of Tom singing like to like a former lover, like kind of like wishing like them well, like kind of like without him. This version, like on the album, like has like a arrangement done by Robbie Robertson, like from like the band, which I think his contribution isn't really needed. Like it kind of like that's almost like what hurts the song really, like kind of like the overblown like sort of like brass arrangement like all this one here, kind of messy, like not really like needed like for the song. But overall though, not a bad way to end the album. The Best of Everything, we're getting 8 out of 10. Okay, so overall, this album would score 79%. So I would say this is quite a strong album here, like for like the most part. I quite like how Petty is trying like a few like new things here, and like it does mostly pay off. Like whoever, like at this moment in time, like he wasn't like in like the best like mental state, like drugs were like a big part like of like his life. So like in like many ways, like he wasn't sure like what direction like to take this album in. But that kind of mishmash, it does kind of work, like especially like on side one, like where like you get like the Brilliant Rebels like to open it, like then like the more sort of like funky, like It Ain't Nothing To Me, like the absolutely sort of brilliant like sort of like psychedelic sort of pop like off like Don't Come Around Here No More, like and like the brilliantly poignant southern accents, like that first side like is like very consistent like sort of like quality wise, but like quite different like sonically, which would make for like a really great record. Like whoever, like he doesn't like kind of like sustain like that level of quality like throughout like the second side like of the album. It maybe also suffers like from like overproduction, like there's almost like too many fingers like in like the pie, like kind of like the like producers like on here, like there's about 5 different producers like credited like on here, so like it is like sort of like a little bit like of like a mishmash, but like I said, it does give the album that some like variety, because like if he come out like with like sort of like another like Jimmy Iovine like wholly produced like album like following like Long After Dark, I think it would have been like quite boring like with like 4 like Jimmy Iovine like albums like sort of like back to back. For most of his follow-up albums, Petty really would like change like his like approach like when it came to sort of like making like a record. Like never again like would he really sort of like labour like over like his music to gain like sort of like perfection like here like his eyes. Like he would be like a lot more loose like and like work like a lot more quickly like in like the future, like on like records like such as Full Moon Fever like and like Wildflowers, some of his like absolutely finest work. But as it is, Southern Accents like remains like an interesting, like if slightly inconsistent, like Tom Petty album. So yeah, so I hope you have enjoyed this review, and I'll see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye. Bad nights take forever, and the good nights don't ever see.